Welcome to Aligned Christ-Centered Yoga. My name is Linda and I'll be guiding our practice today. And my question for you today is, how invested are you in the hard work of transformation? Peter writes Christ's church this: "As obedient children, do not be conformed to the passions of your former ignorance. But as he who has called you is holy, you also be holy in all your conduct. Since it is written, you shall be holy, for I am holy." How's it going on that quest for holiness? As you look behind me, you can see my wood floors. I live in a 50-year-old house, and these are oak floors. So we did the hard work of refinishing them. That meant moving all of the furniture, sanding them completely down. To be fair, somebody else did that work, and then staining them. So we did that 15 years ago, and we did the same thing. We sanded them all the way down, we refinished them, but we refinished them with the same stain. And that stain was that 1970s kind of orangish stain. You can see it if you look back on the old videos. This time, I was like, I don't want this house to continue to kind of look like it's a 1970s house. I'm going to refinish it all the way this time. And I'm going to completely change the stain. So we're going to sand it all the way down. We're going to get rid of all of the flaws. And this time we're going to put a new stain on it so that it looks a little bit more contemporary. I think often in this hard work of transformation, we go to a certain place and then we stop. And I invite you today to give yourself permission to move to that next place, entering into that call of Christ, "Be holy as I am holy." If you haven't already, come to a seated position on your mat, maybe lifting the hips up with a block or a prop, moving flesh away from the sitting bones so that those bones can kind of just sink into that prop. Noticing where you begin today, and if you're comfortable with it, closing your eyes as well, letting the day fade away, letting the space around you disappear. Drawing your attention inward, how is the breath moving through the body? Bringing the breath from the lungs down to the pelvis and exhale up the body. Begin to breathe with a little more dimension. And as you exhale, exhale out that resistance to change and transformation. As you're ready, gently open your eyes and let the hands come down to your side. Shrug the shoulders all the way up to your ears and let them drop. So today we're going to work a little bit on shoulder release. Again, just kind of looking at all the different places in the body where we can release and create change. So one more time, ears come all the way up, deep breath in. And as you exhale, those shoulders drop. Gently bring the chin down and bring the right ear to the shoulder, chin forward, left ear to shoulder. So back and forth here. What are the sensations in the neck today, in the upper back, and maybe even all the way across to that shoulder joint? As you're ready, bring that ear to the right shoulder. Let the head get a little bit heavy. Walk that left hand out. Then gently bring that right hand up and just a little bit above the ear. Give yourself a little extra stretch if you need it. So you make the choice. Maybe those hands stay down. And then as you're ready, gently let the chin come forward. So as the chin comes forward, can you realign the spine? And drawing those hip points in, sinking the tailbone down, drawing the navel in, head deeply bowed. And then gently bring the left ear to the left shoulder. And consider, is this enough? Or maybe you're going to walk that other shoulder, that other hand out to create a little more distance between ear and shoulder. Maybe that left hand rises, comes over the head. And just find your breath here and find your stretch here. As you're ready, release. Let the hands come down, chin comes down. Deep breath in, arms rise. Notice the way that you move your hands as you inhale and the arms rise, as you exhale and the arms come down. One more time. Just notice what is most natural for you. Notice the line of the arms as well. So now working on a rotation that might be a little bit more natural for the shoulder joint. As you come up, can those palms come forward until just below the shoulders? And then rotate the palms towards each other as you come overhead. So again, you're going to come down, those palms are facing up, and then just below that shoulder, those hands rotate to face forward, and then rotate down towards each other at the bottom. So you're creating this rotation of the shoulder joint to create space in the shoulder joint. One more time here, notice, do you shrug the shoulders up, or can you keep the shoulders down as the arms rise? As you're ready, release. So just kind of roll the shoulders out. Notice how they feel. Shake those arms out. Come off the block, bring the props forward, and meet me in table. Wrists are directly underneath the shoulders. Elbows are rotated in towards each other. Shoulders are rotated away from the face. Externally rotated, drawing back towards the hips. And from here, find cat. Draw the belly in, rounding the back. And find cow. Chest rising and moving up. And lead with breath. Exhale with cat. Inhale into cow. One more time. What feels good in this? Meet me back at table. Take a breath here. Find neutral position of the spine. And then round your back and rise up into kneeling mountain. And again, think about the rotation of those hands and shoulders as the arms rise. And exhale and meet me in child's pose. Hands and arms coming forward as the hips draw back. Rise up into cow. Exhale to cat. Finding a flow here, rise into kneeling mountain. This time, go ahead and rotate the wrists at the top and shake out the hands. And then exhale, palms come forward as you come back. Breathing in, find cow. Exhaling, find cat. One more time, can you create more space between shoulders and ears throughout? Find that child's pose, the shoulders draw back towards the hips as the fingers reach forward. Find cow, the chest rises as the shoulders drop. Find cat. Let the head hang heavy. And then curling the toes under, meet me in downward facing dog. So bend the knees, bring the rib cage towards the thighs, shake your head out no and yes, and begin to pedal through your feet. Just notice what's going on in the feet today, and the ankles, the calves, the hamstrings. Nice deep breath in, heels rise, exhaling, heels come down to the mat. And let's just consider what is going on in that upper body. So again, is there a basket between your shoulders, and is that where your head is? Or as the fingers reach forward, can you draw those shoulders back towards the hips? Create more space between shoulders and ears. Engaging through the abdominals, walk the hands back towards your feet. Knees deeply bent, hold on to those elbows and begin to find that back release. Gently just turning the upper body side to side, letting gravity begin to do its work. As you're ready, settle at center. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. And hands to shins, come up halfway and exhale and come down, and pushing through the feet, rise all the way up as the palms rise, and exhale, hands to heart. As your hands are in prayer, press them together just a little bit more tightly, engaging the muscles of the upper back. Again, shoulder blades just kind of gliding down. And then stepping into that right foot, bring that left foot forward. Find your lunge as the arms rise, and then exhale and draw nose to knee as those hands come down underneath. So this is a balance check, a little bit of strength involved here. 2 more times, still connecting that movement with breath. Exhaling and inhaling. The arms are floating. As you're ready, settle back into the lunge. Bring that left hand to the small of the back, that right arm across, and find your twist. And just notice how that, again, maybe drawing the hip points in a little bit, the navel in, softening the rib cage. As you're ready, release. Hands come to either side of that foot and straighten and bend. And if you're tight through those hamstrings, maybe it's better to have the blocks. So whatever is right for your body. As you're ready, find your hamstring stretch. And as you find it, can you draw that hip crease back? Engage the muscles as if the knee is coming up towards the hips. Begin to drop that left hip down. Head comes down, shake it out, no, shake it out, yes. Find breath. And then as you're ready, go ahead and lunge that front foot forward. Meet me in plank as the front foot floats to the back. And then let's find our flow again. Come into child. Rise up into that kneeling mountain. Shake out the wrists and the hands. Come back to child. With breath, cow to cat. Toes curled under, downward facing dog. Engaging through the abdominals, walk the hands back. So this time, keeping the hands on the mat, rotate the upper body, bringing the hands to the heels on one side, over to the heels on the other. Again, maybe shaking that head out, no and yes. Just settle into the stretch. And hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhaling, come down. And pressing through the feet, rise all the way up, palms together, hands to heart. This time stepping into the left leg, right leg comes forward. Deep breath in, arms rise. Watch the rotation of those hands. Notice where the shoulders landed. So again, can you engage through the core? Drop those shoulders down. Let the head float up. As you find your focal point and balance, exhale, nose to knee. Inhale, rise. 2 more times here. Left hand to the small of the back, right arm comes across. Deep breath in. Actually, I said that backwards. Right hand is at the small of the back, left arm is across. So that front arm is reaching across the opposite leg. Engage through the abdominals. And then exhale, coming center, bringing the hands to either side of the foot. Again, props if that's better for you. Perhaps straightening out that back foot a little bit so that the toes are facing forward. So teaching the body alignment. We have these habits. Some of us have had them since birth. Some of them have been formed because of injuries or illness or weakness or age. So begin to reevaluate and find this alignment that is right for you. Shake the head out, no. And yes, and extend into that hamstring stretch and stay there. And as you're ready, release. Bending the front leg, bring those hands to the mat. Fingers are spread wide. Elbows are pointing in towards each other. Float the front foot to the back. Use that core strength. And then draw the knees down, find child. Rise up into kneeling mountain. Exhale to child. Find cow. And cat. And meet me in downward facing dog. So deep breath in, heels rise. And as the heels rise, press down with the ball of the foot. Again, engage the muscles of the legs as those quadriceps tighten and the knees draw up. Hip creases begin to reach back to where the ceiling meets the wall behind you. There's tension in the glutes. Glutes are holding those legs together, inner thighs drawing towards each other. Heels drop down towards the mat. Where are those shoulders? Can you draw the shoulders back towards the hips? Engaging through the abdominals. Bring the hands back again. Find forward fold. This time, 2 fingers, the first 2 fingers around your toes. Let the elbows go wide as the top of the head reaches towards the mat. And another breath here. And hands to shins, come up halfway, and exhaling, come down, and then pressing through the feet, rise all the way up and meet me in mountain. Deep breath here. Check in, notice the way the feet are connected to the mat, the way that the body feels. Opening your eyes, find a focal point, press into that right foot, left leg comes forward in lunge. Maybe you stay here, coming into that twist, just hinging forward. Pivoting into the twist, bringing that opposite arm across the leg. And maybe the hands are in prayer, maybe that bottom hand is in a fist with the top hand reaching over it. Stacking shoulders, and again, lengthening through the neck, bringing those shoulders back towards the hips. As you're ready, release. Bring the hands down, rise up into lunge, and pivot to warrior two. Meeting me in warrior two, check the alignment of the feet. That front heel aligned towards the center of the arch of that back foot. And come in and out of this a couple of times, just coming into that warrior, rising up one more time. And noticing the rotation of those hands. And then finding this strong warrior, hips open wide. Drop that back arm, lift the front arm, come up and over. Stay here for just a moment. Notice where that shoulder went. Is it squeezing towards the ear, or are you still engaging through these serratus muscles? These muscles are still strong, protecting that shoulder joint. And then come over into that side angle bend. Same thing over here. Where is that shoulder? Can you draw it back a little bit? So back and forth here. Moving with your breath, your pace. One more time. As you're ready, meet me in warrior two. And again, just notice where those arms are. And can they drop a little bit below the shoulders? And as the hands reach out, imagine that those upper arms are resting on a countertop. So the arms are resting on something heavy. One more time, peaceful warrior. That front arm comes all the way up. Cartwheel forward. Straighten out that front leg. Just into whatever hamstring stretches right. Maybe that leg stays bent. And then lunge and come into a wide forward fold. So the wide edge of your mat, toes facing the front edge of the mat or the wide edge of the mat. Bring the hands forward and find downward facing dog here. So as the fingers reach forward, those shoulders engage and draw back. The head hangs heavy. Imagine the inner thighs still drawing in towards each other. Gently rotate towards the back of your mat, toes come forward, and bring the front foot to the back and plank. Draw down to the knees, come to child. And from child, taking your time, rise into kneeling mountain. From kneeling mountain back to child. Drawing forward, meet me in cow. Breathe into cat. Curling the toes under, meet me in downward facing dog. Take one more big breath here. Gently bring the hands back to your feet. Back of the head comes down. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhaling, come down. Pressing through the feet, rise all the way up, mountain pose. Exhaling, hands to heart. Pressing into the left foot, right leg comes forward. Find your lunge. Hands to heart, hinge forward and find your twist. So again, the back of the arm is catching on the outside of that leg, and maybe you're in a higher twist, and that's okay. Just stay here for one more breath. And then release, hands to either side of that leg. Straighten out that front leg as the body comes forward. And then pivot towards the wide edge of the mat again. So this time, just take the fingertips and draw them in towards each other. It looks like this. I know you hard to see them on my mat. Step back a little bit for you here. And then you're going to rotate your hands and bring them towards your feet. So the wrists are facing inside, fingers are facing out. Not too much weight on those hands. And then as you're ready, turn the fingers back. Wrists facing to the outside. And stay here for a breath. Then release, bring those hands forward again. Draw your body towards the back of the mat. Find that lunge and rise up and pivot into Warrior Two. And come in and out of Warrior Two here, back and forth. Two more times. Moving with breath. And as you're ready, drop that back arm, bring that front arm all the way up and over. Come the other direction, side angle bend. So peaceful warrior to side angle bend a few times. Again, just noticing what is going on in that shoulder girdle. One more time. And rise into that Warrior Two. So again, maybe even shrug the shoulders up and then draw them down as close to the hips as you can. Bring the elbows in and push those arms out as far as you can. Find the pose. Find your breath. As you're ready, come back into that peaceful warrior and cartwheel all the way over. Again, just straighten out that front leg. Pivot to the wide edge of the mat as the feet come forward. This time, turn the palms behind you and take them back. And let the back of the head drop as those fingers continue just to walk towards the back. And maybe the head even touches the mat, maybe not. It all depends on your anatomy and your flexibility. One more breath here. As you're ready, pivot again towards the front. Bring the front foot to the back. Meet me in child's pose. From child's pose, come up to that kneeling mountain. Meet me in child. Come into cow and cat. And curling the toes under, meet me in downward facing dog. So checking in, consider how you felt when you started with downward facing dog today. Just kind of notice where you are now. We're going to go through that warrior sequence one more time. So exhale your way back, hands to your feet, find forward fold. This time, bring the forearms behind the calves, fingertips facing down towards the ankles. Open up across that upper back as the head comes down. Straighten those legs to whatever is comfortable. A little tension in those hamstrings. No shaking, no pulling, no struggle. Hands to shins, come up halfway. Exhaling, come down. Pressing through the arms or feet, come all the way up, reaching the arms up. Hands to heart. Stepping into that right foot. Left leg rises, comes forward. Take a deep breath in. This time, hands to heart. Find that low twist. And consider maybe opening up those arms wide. So it's just that third option. Maybe you're in high twist. Maybe your hands are in prayer. Maybe you have opened them up. Release, exhale, hands to either side of the foot. Rise into lunge, pivot into warrior two. Drop that back arm, peaceful warrior. Come into side angle bend. Come into peaceful warrior. This time we're going to stay here. So again, can you begin to drop this shoulder just a little bit? Maybe wrap this bottom arm around the body in a bind. Engage through the nose as the gaze comes up. And open those hips towards the wide edge of the mat. As you're ready, release and come over into that side angle bend. And again, draw the shoulders back. Maybe the gaze comes up, maybe not so much. And can you hold with the core muscles so there's not too much weight in this forearm? Back to peaceful warrior. Cartwheel your way to the front. Straighten out that front leg. And then bend it and pivot towards the wide edge of your mat. This time, fingers hold on to the big toes. Elbows come wide as the head comes down. And then as you're ready, pivot towards the back edge of the mat. That front foot floats to the back. Meet me in plank. From plank, the knees come down, hips to heels, child's pose. Find cow and cat. Whoop, kneeling mountain. To child. Then cow to cat. And curling the toes under, meet me in downward facing dog. Exhale, hands come all the way back to forward fold. Shake the head out, no and yes. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhaling, come down, pressing through the feet, come all the way up. Palms together, hands to heart. Stepping into that left foot, the right leg comes forward into lunge. Deep breath in, arms rise. Hands in prayer, come forward into your twist. And consider, where do you want that twist to go? Maybe opening up the arms. Can you keep the shoulders working towards the hips? As you're ready, release. Rise up into lunge. Pivot into warrior two. And again, you're going to drop this back arm. Lift the front arm. Peaceful warrior, side angle bend. Stay in peaceful warrior. So find it on this side, Where are those micro adjustments that you can make to create a little more release, a little more space? Maybe that bottom arm comes around and you find the bind. Maybe you sink a little more heavily into your hip. As you're ready, come up and over and find that side angle bend. And it's okay to find the work in the pose as well. Again, just stacking the hips and drawing the shoulder back just a little bit. One more time, peaceful warrior. Cartwheel your way all the way to the front or to the back edge of the mat. So now that leg extends. Find the hamstring stretch. Pivot to the wide edge of the mat. One final time here, that right hand comes forward, that left hand comes across towards that right leg. Find a gentle twist here. And can you begin to find stretch across the upper back as you draw that shoulder blade out and down? And then twist on the other side. Come back to center into this downward dog. And pivot, coming towards the front edge of the mat. And that front foot comes to the back in plank. Knees come down to the mat, child to table twice. As you're ready, meet me in child. So find your child's pose. Notice where the shoulders are. Perhaps draw them back a little bit if they're creeping towards the ears. Take 3 more breaths here. Jesus tells us to die to self, to let go of old ways, old patterns, old habits, and to become holy as he is holy, filled with grace and mercy and forgiveness, living a life of love. Gently press into your hands and rise up, bringing the feet forward. And come down onto your back. Bring the knees in and give yourself a hug and start here. Rock a little bit side to side. And then hands out to the side, bring those knees up above the hips and the shins parallel to the floor, and gently come down about 2/3 of the way down to one side and then over to the other. And can you lead this with the oblique muscles, those crisscross muscles of the abdominals? Can you start and finish the move there? Notice where the hands are as you're extended. Keep those hands just a little bit below the shoulders. And then as you're ready, let those knees come all the way over to the right. Find your twist here. Anchor the shoulder blades down so the shoulder blades are heavy. And then maybe bring this opposite arm, it's going to be my right arm over my left leg, over that top arm. And just adjust the hips and the knee. Soften the belly and find the twist that's right for you. As you're ready, release and come up and bring the knees over to the other side. And again, the hands come across that bottom arm. So for me, it's my left arm is coming across the top leg, my right leg. Again, can you really anchor through the shoulder blades here and create that distance from shoulder to ear? As you're ready, gently bring the back to the mat. Hands to knees, begin to bring the knees into the rib cage and away, back and forth here. Just restoring a neutral position of the spine. Massaging out that sacrum bone. And as you're ready, bring the feet to the mat. And extend the arms long. Extend the legs long. Bring the arms up to the ceiling. Reach as high as you can so the palms are facing in. So rotation is important here. Palms are facing in. Let the shoulders thump. Do that twice more. Let the shoulders go wide and low. And then just let the hands come down like a soft piece of linguine. And check in and find Shavasana. Find your breath. And notice the way the body has settled onto the mat. And stay there, and I'm going to read to you from a poetry book, How Far You Have Come. You will look back years from now, and you will remember what was good and true. Be present and be at peace with what you choose to leave behind you. Today, exhaling out anything you need to leave behind you. I invite you to stay here a little longer if you can. If you're moving on with your day, reconnect with your breath. Notice the way your body is settled into the mat. And eyes still closed, gently begin to bring movement back. Wiggle fingers and toes, rotate wrists and ankles, and turn your head side to side. On that next inhale, bring those arms up and overhead and stretch as long as you can. Right fingertips and left toes, and left fingertips and right toes. And gently draw the knees in and roll over onto your side, supporting your head with one arm. And find breath here. On that next inhale, come up to a sitting position, finding your sitting bones. Crossing legs comfortably in front of you. Checking in, body, mind, and soul. What has changed since you came to the mat today? What has stayed the same? Accept it as it is. On that next inhale, arms right up, palms together, and exhaling, hands to heart, joining me in prayer. Holy God, We have so far to go. On this quest for holiness, we invite your Spirit to convict, to challenge, to encourage, and to point the way forward so that we can become more like you, and in that show the world your love and your light. It is in the name of Jesus the Christ that we pray. Amen. Thank you for practicing with me today.